Hello, Spook-tober is back, and I have another frightening film for you. It is one of the most foulest, unfathomable, most unbelievable thing that will shake anyone to its core because of the sheer terror anyone goes through. That's right. Feature-length films about product placements. Okay, I know, that doesn't necessarily sound that terrifying, and heck, you might not even know what I mean. Let me explain. So there's companies like the most famous one, Hasbro. Usually they release little toys. Ever heard of a little thing called Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony? Well, fret not, fear viewer, or even if you do not know that, I'm very sure you either played with one of the toys earlier, or maybe you checked out one of the movies. But did you know that one of their TV shows or movies are actually based on the toys themselves? Did you even know that? I highly doubt you did. Know something for you there. But with that said, of course, I checked out one of the most newest and most frightening entries, with that being, of course, Monster High. It perfectly fits within the spooky season of Halloween. It has... oh god, I can't even take this seriously. Claudine, Draculaura, and Frank E. Stein. I'm not sure that's the last name, but let's call her Frankie, because that's how they call her for now, in the show. And it's also, of course, based first and foremost on the toys that Mattel produced and has been producing for almost, I think it was, almost a decade now, I think they've been going on? Yeah. Of course, it's about time they thought, you know what, we need to get viewers, more people buying our toys. What's the best medium anyone knows will sell toys faster? That's right, TV and movies. So, of course, naturally, when I heard Nickelodeon greenlit a feature-length 90-minute TV movie purely based on the toys, I couldn't help but feel, worried that it would turn out to be bullcrap. So, of course, when the first trailers and TV spots and sneak peeks came on, I was actually surprised. Now this isn't like, oh god, I'm relieved. No, it's more like, okay, you have my attention. Because frankly, I was probably not going to be interested in seeing this, but of course, when you have a little sister who watches, well, anything Disney or Nickelodeon, then go figure. So of course, naturally, it hooked her, and soon I saw the trailers, and I'm like, this looks interesting. And not in the sense of like, wow, am I relieved? It's not as bad as looking, oh god, I can't believe they're doing this. No, it's more like, it's fascinating in terms of like, and even the movie too is that, because it's nowhere near as horrible as it could be, and it's still nothing close to being a masterpiece work of film. No, it goes to the terms of genre. I go and call, what's the term, family fluff. A movie that's purely made for you to watch with your family. You turn it on, you watch it, and then you forget you ever saw it a couple days later. It's pretty much falls into that category. And of course, considering the track record TV movies usually go by, especially the musicals, especially Disney channels, well, with their lineup with Descendants, the trilogy, Zombies, the musical trilogy, and despite it not being musical, but still a TV adaptation, Kim Possible. Of course, I was worried Nickelodeon would be falling into the same category, doing something similar as those. If anything, it's kind of falls into the category of the first Zombies movie, where it's like, okay, that was cool, but nowhere near am I like, okay, But, okay, you know what? I'm going on about what's the actual movie, what's going on here. Okay, so tell me if you can take this seriously, because sometimes even I can't even take a plot like this seriously. Claudine, of course that's our main character, because naturally they keep all the names the same from the toys. Huge selling point there, movie. So Claudine is our main protagonist, and I really use that word lightly in the story. Protagonist, who of course is put into the Harry Potter world. And man, do I really lean into Harry Potter this time. So, okay, you know what? Going back, Claudine grows up as starts off with the film realizing that she doesn't really fit into the normal human world, considering that she's treated as an outcast, and usually people are like, ha ha ha, you look like a wolf, or ah, God, you look like a werewolf. So, of course, she doesn't feel at home, she feels like she's an outcast, but naturally, her father reveals, honey, there's a school for monsters you could go to. Could have sent there to begin with, but of course, naturally, there's stuff blocking him from doing that in the first place. Because, oh no, monsters are prejudiced against humans. Oh God, who could have seen that coming? And of course, naturally, oh wow, what's an original idea? Humans prejudice against monsters. No. Here's the twist: monsters prejudice against humans. Wow, where have we seen that before? Besides from every Hotel Transylvania movie, that is. So of course, I was not gonna really be on board for this movie. But then it kept on going. We actually got to the school and it was pretty interesting. It was interesting. After her father drops her off, and I really mean drops her off at a tree with a magic portal and that she just casually jumps into, and naturally lands up at the Monster High school. Ooh, that's all kinds of... Wow, that's lame. And enjoyably, or no, not lame, enjoyably weak. That's the best way I can put that. But then of course it's a musical. She of course experiences her emotions and goes out in song, of course, throughout the majority of the first number. The first number is literally her going to school and just saying her feelings about how she feels like, this is what I've been waiting for, or something like that. I think that's how the song goes, or whatever. And then we meet up with the other characters, Draculaura, who probably has the best, most interesting backstory, because she has an iffy relationship with her father, who apparently is a huge investor in the school, and of course is a classic. Dracula's a classic. You got me there, movie. And of course is a huge investor, the principal, who is, I forget her name, but what's the joke? Oh, yeah, right, she could take her head off. Where have we seen that before, exactly? Headless Horseman, what's the other one? Rodeo Headless Nick. Sorry, I totally forgot about. I was watching Monster High for a second. Okay. But the principal, of course, needs a hand with her head. And of course, we meet up with again Draculaura, who we find out later on that she practices witchcraft despite her father, because she does not want to follow in the footsteps of her father. She wants to be her own thing. While we also trying to battle the awesomeness that is the school saying you can't practice witchcraft because that's a human thing to do. Because, of course, humans are well known for practicing witchcraft. We love witchcraft. We celebrate it everywhere. That's why we love doing it. It's just our daily tradition. Right? Right? Okay. With that said, though, the movie does get a little bit more interesting. Again, the characters she meets are pretty interesting. And which also brings me to arguably the two best characters in this movie are Gorgon and Frankie. I forget the Gorgon's name, so of course I'm just going to call him a Gorgon. With that said, these are pretty interesting characters, and not like their histories or backstories are interesting now. More like the characters themselves have interesting likability that I'm like, okay, I can follow with them, sure, why not? So I go with them, and I'm like, okay, Frankie is arguably the weirdest standout, because it's just so funny how hugely awkward she is, and I just love, she either is too stupid to not figure it out, or is so intelligent enough to know, and she doesn't care. Either way, it's awesome, and I give respect for the actress herself to treat a performance, because I swear, the actress playing Frankie is arguably the best actress in this movie. She just nails it. Even if she has one line of dialogue, she sells it. She's like giving 110% effort. No doubt. So, and with that said, though, of course, we need to have a plot. We realize, of course, the school is groaning and moaning because it recognizes there's a human on the premises. And of course, Claudine fears it's herself, and she soon finds out that it was another student in here that was half human, half monster, which of course was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Go figure. And we soon find out that, interestingly enough, Hyde was still a genius. Interesting twist. who experimented and created a DNA that allowed him to go full-on monster and could stay in the school. Interesting concept, and of course Claudine hears about this and wants to go and see for herself if this is pretty true. Because of course she wants to use it for herself, so the whole plot basically revolves around her. Oh, and of course there's a side plot about her giving a speech at a dinner because apparently her mother was very famous. Because of course her mother was very famous. That happens in about 80% of fantasy stories that go with daily theological high school? What is up with that trope? Whatever. With that said, again, the plot is interesting. I'm kind of interested in seeing where it's going until we find out that apparently one of her teachers is the son of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. She, of course, lifts up. She, of course, befriends Dracula and Frankie. They go on the quest. They meet up with the teacher. Claudine, when she finally finds it, she realizes, oh, wait, I miss my dad. If I take this potion, I'm going to miss him. Because that was greatly built up throughout the whole movie to get to that point. Of course it was. Okay. With that said, though, she doesn't take it. The teacher, of course, takes it. And another interesting twist, he reveals that, of course, taking the potion doesn't just keep you a monster. It actually turns you into the most badass, super cool monster of the whole movie. And I swear, his design reminds me of Tim Curry's Devil from Legend. I swear to God, that he looks, or at least they took inspiration from that, because I swear, they both are eking feminine ghoulishness with that. Oh yeah. With that said, though, he also has the power to take away other people's powers, because that's another weird thing that apparently that is cool in kid and children, kid-friendly media stuff. With that said, he breaks out of the cemetery, because of course that's where that was, and then they have a little bit of a climactic fight, I guess, where Claudine decides to wit him, and I do mean actually wittily, if that's even a word, fool him by actually pulling up a mirror since he steals the Gorgon's powers and he has Medusa's powers. She turns out the camera on the phone, he looks at himself, and of course he gets turned to stone. Because of course we take more notes from Percy Jackson than anything in these movies. And then the day is saved, she realizes the school is actually targeting him, not her. She's of course accepted later on. Her father's welcomed, and then surprisingly we get sequel baiting. Yeah. Apparently there's a weird gypsy-like character looking into her crystal ball, seeing Dracula lift up herself with... of course, she's also accepted now because of her witchcraft power. She's now accepted too. And then we also see a gypsy looking into the ball, looking at Dracula, saying, yes, she's the one who can help me exterminate all of the vampires. I'm sorry, where the heck did that come from? You just casually think, oh yes, we're getting a sequel. I'll give you props. You actually think you're going to do it? I don't know that you're going to do that, but hey, if they already give the TV show a day after the release of the movie, I guess anything's possible. And hey, if we could give a Zombies the Musical sequel a year after the first one, I don't see why not. So, that's the movie right there. That's the movie right there. Tear it apart as much as you like. Of course it goes through the usual tropes in terms of what TV shows do and what to take notes from, or, as my term, steal from. But with that said, it could have been a lot worse. I thought we were going to get, like, dramatic soap opera acting with kid actors who are trying their best, but can't do it with either budget constraints or people working on it with writers and directors who are either too inexperienced or too constrained with what they're doing. So, in my opinion, it could have been a lot worse. And with this subject matter, I'm actually fascinated and really surprised in a way that I'm glad I'm surprised that I did enjoy it as much as I do. But of course, this isn't a movie built for me. Who is it built for and constructed for? You guessed it, children. So of course, I need to look and see if a child could watch and enjoy this. And naturally, I used my little sister as a little guinea pig, and of course, I know she was looking forward to it, and of course, I was like, okay, let's see if she enjoyed it. Well, she got bored through some of it, but she mostly enjoyed it, and she wants to watch it again. Okay, I know the movie did its job. If a young little girl wants to see this movie and instantly says, I want to watch it again, I know it did its job good. So with that said, I'm glad my little sister, as like my guinea pig, if she can enjoy this, then why can't another little girl of her age do that too? So for that said, for its target audience, it works. For a person like me, it's not built for me, but I think we actually looked at it and got a pretty good movie. Because the direction is pretty solid, the actors clearly know what they're doing, the plot could have been a lot more nonsensical, and of course it steals or cleverly updates other sources, and as is, it's decent, and more importantly, it's enjoyable. You can watch it with your family and have a good time. With that said, I'm going to give my ranking, and I am thankfully going to give Monster High, the movie, 3.5 out of 5 lightsabers. It's enjoyable. It's in no way anything great or spectacular, but in my opinion, it's very serviceable family entertainment. I surprisingly enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to, and if my little sister wants to watch it again with me, I would not mind. I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm not going to put up a fight, but of course I'm going to be thinking about the stuff I could watch. But if my sister asks, I'm not going to put up a fight. I'll watch it again. It's not enjoyable. I could watch it again. With that said, though, if I were to watch it once, would I watch it again by myself? You know what? Actually, I could watch it once in a while. But again, that would be a big once in a while. But again, that's my take. What did you think of this movie? Did you even check it out? If you did, what did you think? Was it enjoyable? Was it not? Was it your type of movie? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more Spook-tober reviews, because I promise you more are on the way. And more importantly, take care.